If you haven't seen my previous video where I rank the Jackass movies by laughs, you should go back and check that out and then come back here and watch this.
A soliloquy for every movie, from Casablanca, Tommy Boy. He's here, it's him, it's Andrew Toy.
To sum up Jackass Best and Last, this movie was Johnny Knoxville and the gang going out on a high note. And it's actually kind of touching, because you're going on this journey with them through the years. You can't help but recall how it all began and how long of a journey it's been through the years. And if you're a guy anywhere around my age, you've likely grown up with these guys for the last 27 years. That's how long they've been making us laugh, sacrificing their bodies on the altar of comedy for our enjoyment. What I like about this movie is that it reminds you what life used to be like almost 30 years ago, how different it was back then. It really did give me the same nostalgic feeling as the credits for Deadpool and Wolverine gave, just without the awesome Green Day song. Now, you should be aware that 25 to 30% of this movie is clips from the previous Jackass installments. And I'm proud to say that many of the ones that they chose were my personal favorites. It also shows some unaired segments, the best of which Johnny Knoxville dresses up as a convict and practically gets arrested. Like, some of the archive footage that they show were a bit too extreme for TV, or even for the movies. MTV was just absolutely against airing them. And some of them were just a little bit too imitatable, meaning that some real jackasses would have tried these things and gotten themselves really hurt or in a lot of trouble. But for as old as the guys are now, I was actually surprised for what they still put themselves through for this last movie. And yes, because the guys are now past their midlife seasons, the theme for a lot of these segments was rectal exams. And I will leave it at that. And not everybody will agree, but I think the new stuff they do here is some of their absolute best and grossest that I've seen in any Jackass movie. Huge emphasis on the grossest. Did I mention rectal exams? And did I count the number of laughs this movie got out of me? You bet. But first, let me remind you how many times the previous Jackass movies made me laugh, because I know you didn't actually go back and watch that video I suggested you watched earlier. So from worst to best, Jackass 3D gave me a total of 35 laughs, which is weird because my favorite film critic, Jeremy Johns, says that one is his favorite. Next up on the scale was the first Jackass movie, which gave me 66 laughs. Now we're getting to the big leagues. Jackass number 2 made me laugh a total of 91 times. That's impressive for a 90-minute movie. And Jackass Forever brought in 99 laughs. Yes, exactly 99 laughs, making it probably one of the funniest movies ever made. And with Jackass Best and Last, I lost count around the 89 laugh mark, and that was about with 15 minutes left of the film. And no, I did not count the times I laughed during the old clips or the replays. So that's literally like a 1 hour movie. And I'm just going to call it. I laughed over 100 times in a movie which new material lasted only about 60 minutes. And if these guys aren't guilty of anything, they're definitely not guilty of overstaying their welcome, because I wanted more. And sadly, I don't think we're going to be getting more from this old crew. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep the brand alive with all these new people, which I do hope they do for the new generations. And I just can't stress enough how, yes, absolutely stupid and moronic these movies are, but they've been with me personally since sophomore year of high school. So that's a huge chunk of my life, and they've never really left. They never really left my radar. And I think that's the same for a lot of you guys watching this. They have their TV show, they have 5 films in the pocket, and you can just go back and YouTube just about any stunt that you like and watch at any time. When your kids are old enough, you can start sharing those clips with your kids. And I mentioned in the last video when I saw Jackass Forever, my best friend came into town. It was during a really bad time in my life, and COVID was just starting to lift its regulations. I'll never forget what a breath of fresh air that Jackass movie was. It just hit at the perfect moment of time where it reminded us that life can still go on, that life can still be normal, and yes, life can still be hilarious. And one thing you've got to give these guys props for is their camaraderie, the deep friendship these guys have. They have gone through so much together, and it just makes you crave that sort of interaction with your own friends. You know, these guys are lucky that they've been able to be so close physically to each other, and yes, I do mean that in a lot of ways. It's just a great reminder of how important friendships are and how important it is to be able to be yourself, your loony, stupid, immature self in front of certain people, because that part of you doesn't always die as you grow older. And so it's good to be able to just be yourself in front of others. They could do the same for you, and you just have a good, fun time creating memories that will never, ever die. So thank you so much to the crew of Jackass. We are forever in your debt. This entire generation is. And I just think you guys deserve a good, quiet, restful retirement. Although something tells me you're not going to be satisfied with that. Now, because this is 20 to 30% old clips, if you've seen the other movies recently, I would recommend you wait until this comes on streaming because it really is just an hour of new content you're paying for. With the ticket prices that they are today, I think I'd much rather you wait for it to come on streaming, but you are going to have an absolutely great time. Or if you love Jackass, but there's something else you'd rather see on the big screen, pay for a Jackass ticket. Give them your money. Warner Brothers and Supergirl, they don't need your money. In fact, I would highly recommend you don't even go see that. I won't even see it myself because I've just heard nothing but trash. Do what you can to support these guys. They've done so much for us. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video.